This story is Roly Poly Riley and Friends, Principal's Pet for the Day by Greta Cole. Here we go. Here's Roly Poly Riley. Just down the road from where Roly Poly Riley lived was a boy named Robbie Williamson. He was a great pal of Riley's and he would often pop in and play rough and tumble with him. Today he had come round and was having a bit of a chit-chat to Mrs. Roberts about something. He had a piece of paper in his hand and he got Mrs. Roberts to scribble something on it. What's that about? Riley was thinking. Robbie didn't hang around. Once he finished talking to Mrs. Roberts, he was off out the door. Mrs. Roberts was looking at him with a smile, but was kind of strange, he thought. Something is definitely up, he reflected. A few days later, in the early morning, there was a tap at the door. It was Robbie and his mum. There's Robbie. And he was looking rather smart. He kind of looked like a mini adult. He even had a tie on, along with a briefcase clasped in his hand. Mrs. Roberts was also up early that day, and they came in and sat down at the kitchen table, conversing excitedly amongst themselves. Mrs. Roberts went out and then came back a few minutes later with a cat cage. Oi, what's going on here then? Riley was thinking. Whenever a cat cage appears, it means vet day. Ah! But he trusted Robbie. They were good mates, so Riley felt sure that if Robbie was coming along, he would be all right. There's Roly Poly Riley in the cat cage. Before you know it, Robbie, his mum and Riley were in the car going out of Mrs. Roberts' driveway. Well, this was a novelty. Going out somewhere, Mrs. Roberts wasn't hanging along. They parked up and Riley heard a lot of loud talking, giggling and other noise. As Robbie's mum was taking a caged Riley out of the car, Riley realised that they weren't at the vet. Well, this is all rather strange, he was thinking. Oh, what's those kids doing here? Robbie opened the cage door and before he let him out, he tried something round his neck. A bow tie, he overheard Robbie's mother calling it. He was staying close to Robbie, especially with all the commotion going on around him. Children could be a little unpredictable, and Riley always felt a bit nervous around them. Robbie's mum didn't hang around. She was off back in her car and drove away. Well, this is all rather bizarre, but kind of exciting, Riley thought. Before he knew it, he and Robbie were up on a big platform in front of a large amount of kids. Oh, this is where Robbie must come most days. Riley was quite an astute cat, and he gauged from the chatter that Robbie had won some sort of prize, and he was principal for the day. He certainly was getting a lot of attention. Wow, this is really cool. I like being Robbie's friend. Robbie was giving out prizes to some kids, which they seemed very excited about receiving. Here's the prizes. There were big teddy bears, a huge plastic jar of jelly beans, a very large kite, amongst other things. As the children were coming up, they were shaking both Robbie's hand and Riley's paw. Not too sure why, but it made Riley feel important anyway. After that, Robbie and the children sang a few songs. They didn't seem to be in tune, but they all seemed rather happy, clapping their hands and stamping their feet. After the prize giving and sing-along, all the children were dismissed. Here's Roly Poly. Riley followed Robbie to a biggish-sized room where there was a desk and a large chair. It seemed like this was an important kind of place. There were bookcases with lots of books, papers, a computer, and other office-type things. Robbie went down and sat in the big chair and directed him to come up onto a stool that was beside him. Does this mean I'm second in charge? Riley was thinking. Robbie was giving instructions to various people who were coming in. He certainly seemed to know what he was doing. He had a large box beside the desk and was giving out plastic water squirters to the teachers coming in and telling them to use them on any child who misbehaved. Robbie then went to a blackboard and started writing some things up that were going to be organised that day. Sausage sizzle, pool party, treasure hunt, bouncy castle, along with some other fun activities. During the excitement of the day's activities, a girl named Molly Milner had jumped off the bouncy castle and grazed her knee quite badly. She was taken to the first aid room, where Nurse Nancy Newton was cleaning up the wound and looking after her. Nancy had an idea. Molly was very sad, forlorn, and nothing seemed to cheer her up. So Nancy rang the principal's office phone and requested that Robbie and Riley come down. Molly lived on a farm and was very much into animals, and Nancy thought Riley could lighten things up a bit. So there's Molly Milner and Riley. And it worked. As soon as Riley swiggered in, Molly was overcome with delight. Would it be okay if Riley keeps Molly company this afternoon? Asked Nurse Nancy. It should be fine, Robbie responded, but I'll need his assistance back at the principal's office around 2:30, please. Well, Molly and Riley had a ball. Molly read Riley some storybooks while he lay around in the sun. Someone brought some goodies in for afternoon tea and even bought cat treats for Riley. The afternoon just flew by, and before you know it, Molly had been cheered up no end and went back to class. Riley went and kept Robbie Williamson company in his office. He had a letter typed to go out to all the classrooms stating that no homework was necessary that night. It was about time to go home, but before Robbie's chauffeur mum came to pick them up, Robbie presented Riley with a glistening golden cup shaped like a kitty. I'd just like to officially thank you for coming in today and helping around the place, and we appreciate you keeping Molly Milner company also. What a day, Riley thought. I've been treated like royalty, and I have to say that I've had such fun. Here's the cat-shaped cup. Though it had been an absolutely fantastic day, Riley was quite happy to be back home. He was rather exhausted by the day's activities and went over to his favourite spot on the window ledge to have a wee snooze. Mrs. Roberts put the golden kitty cup on the fire mantle for all to see and admire. So that was the story, Roly Poly Riley and Friends, Principal's Pet for the Day, by Greta Cole. Hope you enjoyed it.